I loved all the books in the series so far, and this one feels right up the alley. Like, I'm gonna love it too.
It was actually so interesting because I truly got to see the progression with this book.
The final update on the final offer. Guys, so I just finished, well, I didn't finish. I'm at page 222. I'm not quite at the halfway mark. It looks like I'm right here, but getting there. And this book is so good. Mind you, there are like traumas and different things happening. I'm gonna admit this might be a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't read it, but this book is a second chance romance. And if you have read the other ones within the series, or if you've heard about the other ones in the series, basically there are three brothers who are the billionaires, and they each have a book. So this book is about Cal, and he is the third brother, kind of like put to the test. The grandfather basically left a bunch of money to them, and they have to kind of go through these, they're basically being tested in a sense. They're having to complete these what do you call them, roadblocks essentially, that are kind of put in the way by their grandfather. And their grandfather appears to just be a good man. He wants them to be, I guess, more like well-rounded and have their crap together and not just inherit money with like a nasty attitude and all that jazz, is what I'm assuming, is what I'm taking from it. So Cal, him being the youngest, he actually wound up in a pickle, having a big problem with alcohol. That's like a big thing that the story so far is about, because it kind of just controls him. And if you know anything about that, that's what it does. It like consumes him, and basically his character gets wrapped up in that, because that's what he's kind of labeled as, is the guy who is constantly intoxicated, and you can't take much from him. Funny thing is, when he's not, and when they portray him as, when the author portrays him as in his normal self, he just seems like a very likable person. And obviously he has his issues, but you know, coming from the background of their family, obviously there's going to be some issues there, because their family, despite being millionaires and all, are kind of like a hot mess. Lana, on the other hand, she's growing up. Like, I liked her at some parts. I think as I was reading along, there were some parts where she just seemed a little harsher, but many of the places is just. There was a line that she said in here that I thought was different, just because, quite frankly, so there's like a scene where Cal had dropped Lana off with her kid to like this place, and I felt like he was kind of torn, because he felt like he wanted to be a part of it, but he wasn't invited and it wasn't his place to be there. So he then kind of went and did what he did best. She later kind of runs into him, and he's of course intoxicated, and she's trying to help him out, but he was holding on to her hand for dear life while she's like trying to let go. And what did he say? Oh, I guess he was being very like apologetic for what he did. He damaged some of her household goods and things of that kind, and he said oh my gosh, can you tell I'm tired, Charlotte, while you're editing this? And he kept saying sorry, And that's all he kind of has been saying for many years, like the past 6-7 years of his life, is that he keeps going back to his old ways despite getting help and getting treatment. So he is like always apologetic. And she was like, yeah, like she's like, don't say that because words have meaning, but actions what? She said, don't say that. And then he goes, why? And she goes, because words have meaning and your actions cheapen them. I thought that was like a really interesting phrase. I've never heard that said before, because generally it's like you hear that words are cheap and actions on the other hand, you know, speak louder than words. But just that little caption there just had me thinking. I was like, huh, it's interesting. I guess you can always say it from both ends, right? Both sides. Anyways, overall I'm enjoying the book. I'm curious to see how things are going to wind up for them. Obviously, you know, it's a romance book, so you kind of know how it's going to go, but the story and the journey to get there, I'm really, really enjoying. Lauren Asher is, oh my gosh, she's turning out to be like a really good author that I'm like absolutely loving. I think she's the same one that wrote Archer's Voice. Archer's Voice. She's the same one that wrote Archer's Voice. And it is a book that I kind of DNF'd, but it was like, I did find it good. I just kind of lost momentum. And so I'm going to pick it back up to see how it pans out in the end. But I really did like her writing style in it. I think I just got kind of bored because it was just getting dragged out. I'm gonna give it a second chance. Anyways, she's not the first author that someone's gonna read sometimes and you're like, I don't like this book, but then you like a lot of their other books. Well, I loved all the books in the series so far, and this one feels right up the alley, like I'm gonna love it too. And then I also have Love Redesigned. I think I just took that out of, I have a little section that I've stored over here of some books that I purchased already, and I just kind of have them. Sorry guys if the camera has been crooked. Yeah, so I also have like Love Redesigned by her, and I think I have another one by her, and now I'm like really, really excited. I think I had a couple other books picked out to read, but I feel like I want to pick up another book by her because I am just so intrigued by her writing style. I find her super easy to read, and I don't have to, my brain's not doing too much. Like, I'm just able to glide through her book. I'm like halfway through, and I know with many of books, including this one initially, it's just sitting there and I was so intimidated to pick it up, but as I'm reading it, I'm not even thinking about how many pages are there or anything like that, and I'm already like almost halfway, well not quite, but almost halfway through, because this book has 600, yeah, basically 591 pages, and I'm at 222, and I am absolutely loving it. I'm glad that there are that many pages because I want to know how the story's gonna end. I'm glad it's not short because I am thoroughly enjoying it. So just wanted to put that out there.
I just was playing.
You were praying?
No.
Playing?
Playing.
Oh, you're playing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. What were you playing? Good morning. Good morning. Morning, bookworms. I'm not sure if this is going to be a beginning of a new vlog or it is a continuation of a reading vlog that we'd already started, but your girl is back to do a little bit of a review on The Final Offer because I just feel so inclined right now. For starters, I have read book 1 and 2, obviously, lest I wouldn't be here. I read book 1, I believe, in the first quarter of the year, and book 2 in the second quarter, and I really enjoyed the both of those. Honestly, I'm not sure the review I gave him, maybe 1.4 and 1.5 for sure, but they were basically in that ballpark of like 5 for me for the most part. That led me to be very excited about book 3. I could have just read it in the moment, but I wanted to kind of just get out of that world a little bit, mix it up and do something else, because in my mind, I'm like, I know book 3 is gonna be like a 5-star or pretty darn close, because everyone has been raving about this book. So it just kind of left me super excited. And yeah, I am 450 pages in, and I definitely have a few things to say. For starters, let me say it's been a long time since I took notes for a book. My thoughts coming in, pure excitement, didn't have anything else to go on other than hearing everyone say that they really enjoyed this book, that is the best one in the series. After reading 450 pages thus far, I beg to differ. I know an ending can change a lot and it can say a lot, but An ending is not gonna have me forget how much rage I felt reading a lot of this section. First of all, little stats on the book. It's a dual POV. It's a billionaire slash second chance romance, single mom slash small town romance, childhood friends to lovers. I guess there was a break in between there, and then they're back at the same place again. So those are the stats for the story. I'm gonna start off to say it is not my favorite story so far, but I'm not gonna give it a rating because I haven't completed it yet. That rating at the end could definitely take it up another point because right now it's not sitting pretty. To me, the story is a bit boring. I remember being told numerous times from the other books that Cal is the one that is supposedly charming. I literally felt like Cal had no charm in this book at all. I'm like, where is it? I'm still waiting for it. There's like zero charm. In fact, the chemistry in this book to me from the beginning was kind of lackluster. I didn't really feel it. I didn't really sense a lot of it. Sorry for coming to you guys in my PJs, but this was a must, okay? I felt that their story was a little boring and it was very slow paced because I read a lot and not a whole lot kept happening. It just kept feeling like the same thing. And considering it was a romance, I guess it's supposed to be contemporary. It is contemporary. But I found a lot of it it was just like so real, which I do love, but so real in just like a romantic way. It can be so draining just because it's so harsh. There's a lot of harshness that's taking place in this book. A lot of strong topics, you know, strong topic of Cal and the things that he suffers with in this book and the triggers that come with that. So it didn't leave for a good time as I was reading it. I kept feeling like, okay, like what are we working towards? What are we gonna get to? I'm not a big reader of slow burn, but is this like what slow burn's supposed to be? Please tell me if I'm not familiar. And I apologize if you guys can hear craziness because our rabbit is doing the most right now. He's like speed racing right now. I don't know why. And okay. What are they doing? Oh my gosh. Why does he always choose to do this? I like to film here sometimes. Every time I come here to film, he acts crazy. It's like has to tell me to just be quiet. Anyways, the topic can be so harsh, just like on repeat and just feeling like you're going nowhere. As for the main character, Elena, oh my gosh, I did not like her as a female lead. I think she is very harsh, like just very harsh. She comes across as harsh and mean. And while I like her standing up for herself, I feel like there's so many times where she took it so far. And I'm gonna touch base on this one part in particular, and it's like, I don't want it to be a spoiler, but I guess maybe it can be a little bit of a spoiler. It's the part where she discovers, it's actually really close to where I'm at right now. It's basically when she discovered that Cal wanted to sell their home, the home that basically the grandfather kind of left, you know, her, but she shares with Cal. Cal wants to sell it, and a big part of the reason why he wants to sell it is because of the inheritance. So this is a little bit of a spoiler. If you don't want to know, don't be watching the spoiler part, because this part to me is just like, I find it crazy. I find it hard to explain what I'm trying to say without telling you. But basically, when she discovers the main reason behind why Cal is trying to get rid of the house, she just goes nuts. All it takes is communication. She overhears something, and instead of like addressing it, she doesn't communicate. She just shuts down and runs and doesn't explain and she just gaslights. I find her to be super toxic. And I know she touched base a little bit on like her growing up. To me, I'm like, okay, that's a part of what's triggering her character, but why is this allowed? Why is this allowed? I know it's a story, but why is this allowed? I don't know. I found it all so draining. So after learning that Cal is basically trying to get his inheritance. I mean, $25 billion is a lot of money to walk away from, or to not work your way towards when your grandfather left basic things. Oh, don't talk about this, don't say this, don't mention this to anyone. He's trying to live up to his grandfather's request by following through. He can't please everyone, and in the midst of trying his best to serve Alana and all her many requests, which aren't bad. It's not like they're bad, because she wants the better for him, but she does it in a very toxic way. She kind of goes about it in a very roundabout and toxic way many a times, and it can be very frustrating. Secondly, I'm confused as to where her understanding was. It's just me. He's just made me upset. He betrayed me, and it's just like, dude, chill, stop. Just listen for a second. I feel like, I know with books, a lot of the substance, I feel like a lot of the content obviously surrounding just the drama, right? And the drama of no communication and then the chase of trying to get communication. I understand, but does it have to always be bad? Because I feel like there could be a good storyline if even just half of that is replaced with something else, like not making the character come across as annoying and toxic and as a gaslighter the whole time. That's where I'm at with this book right now. I'm just so over it right now. So over it. So far I'm saying I'm hating this book. I'm not loving it. It's definitely not my favorite. It's the last for me in the bottom 3. And I know not everyone's gonna agree with this, because for some people this was their favorite book. And I have no judgments. I know for books everyone's taste is different. Also, this one does have a lot of spice, and not my cup of tea. Not the no, I was skipping, and towards the end the book's starting to get boring, so I literally just popped in the audio this morning. Alana's character is coming across actually way worse on the audio than I thought. I already felt like she was harsh in the book. She sounds even worse. I don't like the audio at all. I don't like it. She sounds so abrasive. She sounds angry. Like she sounds like an angry woman all the time, and it's just like, okay, wow, chill. To me, I thought this book could use like a new female lead. Oh my gosh. My rabbit is just driving me nuts right now. He's just doing all the things. He's doing these scratching sounds. And it's just scratching so he can throw himself sideways. Yeah, and he's done that like 3 times. He's back to laying down, but he'll be up in 2 seconds. I felt like this book could have been good with a new female lead, because Alana just wasn't it for me. I don't know, if for those of you guys who have read it, let me know down below, did you really enjoy Cal's portrayal? Did you feel like it followed through with the way the author described Cal in book 1 and book 2? How did you like Alana? Or Lana, as Cal called her, because I was reading it and I kept saying Alana, but then when I popped in the audio, I learned that it was Lana, so it's pronounced Alana. That's my main thought so far. Yeah, I basically say that Cal couldn't reveal everything, or he couldn't really reveal some of the secrets because of what his grandfather requested, and yet at the end of the day, which is kind of the same, it's the same thing for the brothers if you've already read those books, and at the end of the day, give us a female character that has like communication skills. Like, is it that hard? Why are we all portrayed as like airheads? Like, we can't pause for the cause, and we can't stop ourselves from going 50 million miles per hour with our thought process and then shut down. And like, can we please be portrayed a little bit more sophisticated than that? Like, there's some of us who have sense. There's some of us who value communication, who enjoy communicating, and just who can help the scenario and not hinder it further. Because I felt like if Alana's character took the time to communicate, things would not feel so, it just wouldn't feel so toxic. It wouldn't feel so like, ugh, like the book was kind of icky to me. The book wouldn't deter me. It just wouldn't make me despise the character as much, because I could see that she's trying. But in this case, it just doesn't feel like she's trying. It just feels like she's just being selfish and running for the hills. I did write, Alana is selfish. She's toxic. She's self-centered. It's actually funny because she describes Cal in the book the same way, and I thought to myself, wow, she's describing herself. And that's kind of just where I am. So I definitely, you guys don't understand the struggle to finish this book right now. I know obviously we're gonna get through this part to get to a good part, but this part just makes me want to like gouge my eyeballs out or my ears, because it's so hard to get through just the toxicity. It's really hard. It just makes, yeah. Quite frankly, I felt like this book is a little too long too, because reading so much of the same thing on repeat and getting nowhere it doesn't feel very pleasant. I'm like unsure as to what the point of it all was. This is a lot of extra pages for no reason. It could have been condensed to a much shorter read, like literally half. it didn't necessarily have to be this long, because it just painted Alana as a, you know what, I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm talking about. It just painted her as the way that a lot of people like to describe women, and it's not nice and it's not cute, and yeah, that's just where I'm at. So that's just my thoughts on this book right now. I'll come back to you guys later and give you the final update on the final offer. Okay guys, so it has been a number of days since I since I updated you on the final offer. Okay, I said I was gonna come back and just kind of wrap it up. First of all, I kind of want to wrap it up with you, miss. I was sleeping in bed. Okay.
Wait, was I not at school?
No, you were sleeping. It was the weekend. You were sleeping in.
Okay,
so
well.
anyways, yeah, I kind of wanted to wrap up the ending with Charlotte because I kept telling you that I thought this book could somehow recover from the ending.
It was actually so interesting because I truly got to see the progression with this book. Okay, wait, hold on. Because let me just say, so Mom loved the other two. I think we've said this many times, but if you've missed that, Mom loved the other two books. And then she put this one off because she was like, oh, I don't want to finish the series. I don't want it to end because you loved it. And you picked it up. There was hope. You were kind of, you were enjoying it, and then you got to, like, I want to say a third, and you got to like feel a little shaky on it, and you're like, hold on, what's going on here?
What's going on?
I think from the last part, you updated them like right here.
Yeah, midway.
Which is like basically, I think, 75% of the way in there.
Somewhere there, yeah.
And you were ranting, and I saw all the footage, and it was honestly super, it was just actually pretty funny to hear.
If you guys are unaware, we're kind of wrapping up the end now after we've kind of edited the other section, and then realized that, oh, I still have not yet updated you guys. That's why I'm coming to you fully showered and clean, but in pajamas, and, you know, no makeup or anything like that. So the whole point was, I thought the end was going to redeem itself. Lo and behold, it did not. Okay, so I gave this book, wait for it, drum roll, I gave this book a whole
2 stars.
2 stars. Don't come for me, guys. If you guys love this book a lot, don't come for me. I apologize, but that's just like what it is for me. The same things that I basically explained, I felt throughout to the end. Nothing changed. I felt like Callahan was still kind of walking blindly right into this crazy girl's pit. She didn't change much. She wasn't willing to change much for this guy, and she wanted him to change everything for her. Mind you, his problems were obviously big, and his problems were obviously affecting himself.
Yeah.
And would ultimately affect anyone who he's with. So it's not like it's a negative that he wanted her to change. I just found it was so, she was such a gaslighter.
Yeah. And
she was that continuously. And towards the end, I felt like this guy was going to the moon. He was going to the moon and back, and I felt like he had to do everything to prove. And trust me, like, I'm a female, so I understand. Like, we want to be loved, we want to be desired, we want to know that our person is for us, we want to know that they love us and they'll do anything for us. I still understand that it's a two-way street, because I'm sure guys want to feel the same thing.
Exactly.
And you can't just be, I personally just didn't like that concept of Alana could be wild and crazy
and do whatever she wanted.
Yeah. And he was the only one who had to make changes.
Exactly. I feel like in any romance, no matter what, if it's contemporary, even if it's like a really light, fluffy read or anything, there should be a change. You should be able to see a change in the characters from the beginning to the end.
Exactly.
And it should be them learning to, like, kind of coexist together. And if you don't see that, and if that doesn't happen, it's like, what happened here? Like, what's going on?
So that didn't happen in this book, and because of that, I gave it a 2. So I won't talk about it much. Honestly, it's just at the point where, ask Char, like, I don't usually break up my series, and I definitely want to keep the 2 other books. I think if I get to a place where I want to get rid of it, I don't know, I'm not there yet, but right now I'm like, I just want to chuck this one. I just want to get rid of it. I just want to donate it, put it in a free little library, even though it's like, well, yeah, there might be someone who may have read book 1 and 2 and didn't read book 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like, I just need, and I paid $26.99 for this book. I did too. Yeah, guys, not for me. So I'm curious, you guys leave all your comments down below. Let me know how you felt about book 3. I'm currently reading one that I'll give you guys an update about, and I am really loving that one far more than I enjoyed this one. This one did get a lot of love and publicity.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was floating around on Book Talk forever and a day, and I feel like everyone wants to get it. I don't know. I'm curious to hear what other people think, because I'm sure I saw that this had a ton of ratings when I checked it out, and I'm just I was like, did we read the same book?
Exactly.
Yeah. We listen and we don't judge. I will listen to your opinions down below and I will not judge you, because I know that books are they're just what they are. They're subject to each reader. Our opinions and feelings for our characters and our love for the book is going to be different. So
exactly.
Anyways, that is pretty much it, guys.
I hope you enjoyed just like this whole progression, this reading vlog. It was actually really fun to film. And yeah, just comment down below what books you're currently reading, whether you're enjoying them or not enjoying them.
And let us know if you actually did enjoy the style video as well. Because
Yeah.
if you like that, maybe we can do some more of those. And yeah.
So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content, and we will
See you
guys
in the next one. Bye, y'all.